Hello, welcome to How to Beat Your Dad at Chess. Level 7. It's really not How to Beat Your Dad at Chess anymore, it's just me continuing the saga. Um, I might have skipped a level because it says 2700, but I think I was playing 2300 and now it jumped by 400. I really don't know how. I don't remember, but last level I drew in a game that took like 2 hours and was torture, and then I rematched and I won fairly easily in like 30 minutes. Um, I've yet to lose in this progression of 1 through 7. I will eventually lose, or else I'll make the news as the greatest chess player of all time. But I will lose. I think it'll be this one. 2,700 is a huge jump. We know by now the ratings are not accurate, but still, level 7 out of 10 on a computer, I predict a fight. So let's go with the queen's pawn. Let's just get it going. I think that was enough preamble. All right, see, here we go. That is the absolute best response to d4. Knight f6 is, well, it's good because if he had played this knight to here, I could immediately attack it. It's good to get your knight out. It's also kind of good to avoid the queen's gambit. If he had played d4, I would have played c4 and get into some theory there. The knight here prepares the bishop to come out and to castle. He's getting ready to castle kingside. And he's also preventing my pawn. When I play d4, my next move, if he didn't do this move, which prevents this, basically e4 comes next. The knight prevents e4. And it also, now if I play c4, which I think is still the best move, he kind of just does his own thing and ignores my center. And then he'll undermine it later. So d4, this is an interesting game already because d4 is objectively, I think, the best move for white of all time that anyone's ever found. I think this would probably have the highest success rate. Because it's not as e4 is a little bit dangerous. It's a little double-edged. That's called an open game. This is called a closed game with white because the positions tend to be more closed. I'm just gonna go c4. And now he strikes out. Now this is not actually the best way for black to play, so he's still not at 3,000 or whatever, where they will literally play every move perfectly. The problem with this move is if I take... Okay, so he has an idea. See, he couldn't have played queen takes because I would attack it, get my knight in the game, and he would have to move, and it'd be my turn. If he took with the knight, I would have had e4 to attack it. Now, what he's saying is go ahead and take this pawn, and then I'm going to play this move. And now, if I get greedy because I'm up one pawn, logically you would think, well, let's just trade this. The problem with that is then his knight develops, and then his knight and queen are hitting this. And then all of a sudden I'm on the defensive. Even though I'm up a pawn, he gets a good position as black, and then ultimately he'll win back that pawn and then convert to a win. So but if I don't take, he now has too much power, and he will take with this pawn, freeing up the square for his knight. And defending this pawn is futile because he's attacking it 3 different times. So I will take and allow him to gambit and get an attack going, knowing that I can play just solid here. I can just play e3 and defend this. I could also play knight f3. Problem with e3 is it blocks in my bishop. Maybe I play knight first, then bishop out, and then e3. maybe if I go knight here, he plays e5, and then if I take, his queen takes my queen. If I don't take, well, then I'd be up 2 pawns. That'd be interesting. Takes, but I would lose my castling rights. I'm just gonna play here. He played it anyway. Yeah, so he's gonna take. He's being very annoying. Now if I play knight f3, he has e4 to attack my knight. But if he does that, then my structure with my pawn wall is working, and I can kind of hop back and regroup. So I think knight f3 is good, although he'll probably pin me, threatening to play that move. So if I go and he pins and then I attack, he probably goes back and he wants me to play g3, and then all of a sudden I have nowhere to castle. So I think best move here maybe is just to pin his knight. That way if he takes, I can take back, and he's never winning on here. Problem with takes is just queen takes, and then my king can't castle. So, and also the problem with bishop here, I might already have messed up, but bishop to here, he has a6, and then if I back up, he has b5, and then if I back up again, this knight is now free to win this pawn, because he has 3 pieces and I only have 2 defending this pawn. And I can't push because knight and queen block it, and there's no pawn here to defend it. My bishop cannot defend it. I could play knight to e2 defending it. Problem with that move is then my bishop is blocked in. However, I do kind of like that move. It doesn't look pretty, but it does prevent all of his ideas. Maybe if he takes, I can just take back with the knight. Takes. Then I end up with an isolated pawn. Now, the reason this is such a hard pawn to defend is because I'm up a pawn that he gave me for free, knowing that this would happen. So, knight here, he pins, I attack, he goes back, I attack again, and then he has like knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. He also just has bishop to there, and then I've extended these pawns. I still think that's my best bet. So I'm going to go for that. If pawn takes, he might immediately pin me and then take the knight and then win back this pawn. If knight takes, he might play knight captures. Then if pawn takes, I think that's my best. Bishop b5. Pins this, attacks it twice. He has to respond to that threat, but he has check at any point. So knight here, I could play bishop here, and then when check, play knight out. Defends my bishop, defends my king. Then he can hop in and pile on my pin. So maybe knight first. Just out. The knight's doing no good back here, whereas these bishops have possibilities at their home squares. The knights almost never do. You almost always want to just get them out in the open. So that's what I'll do. Okay, notice how he castles before I can because of the gambit. I'm still up a pawn, and it's not an isolated pawn, so I'm doing very well in this position. I might want to consider capturing the knight, isolating his pawn, and then I can preserve this structure that'll be a lot easier to defend. Whereas if he takes and I take, then this pawn will have no neighbors and be hard to defend. Now if he takes and queen takes, he doesn't have queen takes, which makes the pawn... I don't want the pawn to be on d4 without any help. So I'm trying to think, if this knight takes my knight, do I have queen recaptures without some sort of bishop move that exchanges the queen? I think I'm okay. So I think I have the ability to develop my bishop. Where does he want to go? Here, 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 or here. The problem with playing g3 and then putting the bishop here is then all your pawns are on dark squares over there, and it becomes super weak and easy for him to infiltrate. If my bishop somehow were to die, then his bishop would be a monster. So I'm gonna leave this pawn on the dark squares, or the light squares. My point. I could play really safe, just bishop e2 and castle. That might be good. I'm thinking if I get aggressive with this move, maybe he just develops like that. I think that's the strongest move. He could attack it like that, and then if I take... Yeah, I think this is good. Now, if I play bishop here attacking this, he could just attack my knight, and then queen takes, and then I have a couple pieces sitting around. I could also play this knight to here, attacking his bishop twice. I'm going to play bishop all the way out, and just be aggressive, because last game that worked really well. Okay, so here's a reason why bishop e2 would have prevented a move I didn't see coming. I have f3 here blocking this, and then if the bishop moves, then I have a double attack on this knight. So I could play like knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes. So if I block, he'll probably go back here and laugh because now my king has been opened up. And this pawn will be vulnerable because this pawn isn't protecting him anymore. However, I think that's a good move, because he has to move back, and then I could still trade here and isolate this pawn. Castle. This pawn's defended. I'm gonna play that move. Wow, he went all the way back. What a bizarre... Okay, so now I can take with bishop or knight, and this knight only has one defender. So knight takes attacks the queen. He's probably going to play pawn takes, and then bishop takes will attack the rook, and then the rook will have to move. And it will attack this, which is defended. If I play bishop takes first, then he takes, then I play knight takes, and it attacks the queen. Queen moves and attacks my knight. I like knight takes better. Okay, one thing to think about is if I got a pawn to here that was protected, it would attack both pieces, so moves like that can be useful. However, I'm going to get my bishop. He's done his job, and now I kind of want to bring him back, maybe park him here. Maybe I should castle first. Winning by 2 pawns. Just got to hang on to him. I think castling here is pretty good. Is there a way for him to move and attack my bishop at the same time while attacking this. He's going to play rook here, queen here, gang up on this. But if I castle and then defend it, I think that works. He also has sacrifices. If I castle, bishop takes, king out, and then like queen out, you know. But I think I'm just going to castle. Oh, I see. I missed that move. Queen here attacks my bishop, and now I'm losing this pawn. So I shouldn't have castled. I should have thought about that more. Now I lost my advantage. Um, could play bishop to here. Then he's going to play check, and then I'm going to move. He can also play rook here, threatening check and winning the queen. I could also leave my bishop here, play queen here, and have a double thing going on. And is that good? I think bishop here is good. And just drop this pawn and hope to survive. Yeah, so he's doing his little plan. I have to get out of this, because even if I defended this pawn, he would just go there anyway with the discovered check winning the queen. The problem with moving the queen in this direction is it prevents the bishop from using that and attacking the king. I'm going to play queen to here. I could also play queen to e. And then... Interesting. Wow. Okay, if I played queen e1, check, I move, and then if he doesn't retreat, I have the move f4, which traps the bishop's retreat, and then I can try to win it with the queen. So queen e1 might be strong. I'm trying to calculate, can I play knight here? Then he checks, I move, he has takes queen, I would have take queen, he would have check. That doesn't work. Huh. The problem with queen e1 is check, I move, and then immediately just attack my queen. So I'm just going to go here. He might have already beat me. If I move to the side, he might play queen to here, and then queen here, and then just bishop back, checkmate. Oh, that's even worse. Yeah, I'm getting crushed. I'm getting absolutely crushed. It's over. Brutal. He's playing knight here, winning everything. When it's like checkmate almost. Now, if I move the queen and then he checks me, I do have takes bishop, but then he has discovered attack with the queen and the knight. This is too many pieces next to my king. I already lost the game. If I play queen here, and look, I haven't even developed. If I play queen to here, he checks and wins my rook. I can't move my king, and if I play pawn up, he still is going there no matter what. And I can't even defend that square because if queen defends, he checks and he's too guarded. So this game's completely over. I lost already. Um, if I played, let's say I play queen e1, then he checks. I can take the bishop. I have no other option. Take the bishop. Then he takes my rook with check. I just have to make sure I'm not losing my queen. I already lost, so I'm just gonna go here. Yeah, that's the problem with that. Okay, at least he didn't check me and win the rook. Problem is there's nowhere. This might be a draw. If I go, where was I last square? Yeah. If I go back here, he might go back here, threatening the same move, and it might be a draw. Because I can't go here because the rook takes. Can't go here, the rook takes. Can't go here, bishop takes. Can't go here, knight takes. So this is my only move, other than blocking with the rook, which might be a good idea. Because if I don't block with the rook, if I go queen back, he has this move, and then, well, I guess I could play queen to here. Rook to here. Bishop takes rook, queen takes. Check. Move, and all my problems are solved except I lose a rook. So rook here is interesting. If I play queen up, best I can hope for is a draw. Because if he goes back to this square, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll go um, to here or something. If I go up, maybe he goes there, threatening the same fork, and then I can't go back. I would have to go to here, and then he would check me, and then I'm not winning the bishop in that variation, and then he wins my rook. So I think the rook is lost no matter what, and the best move might just be to sacrifice it prematurely, preemptively, and then if is he even going to take? Because if queen up, I think he plays bishop h4, threatening to win the queen, and then it's my turn, and I have to play queen to c2 or to a6. Those are my only options. If I go to a6, maybe he attacks it again, and then it's truly dead everywhere. So that's not an option. If I go here, and then he goes there, and then I go to c2, if I go here, he goes here, I go to c2, and then he checks, I move, he wins the rook, I take the rook. I'm going to do that. Now he's thinking about rook over here, moving the bishop, check, winning everything. If I move the king back, he's just going to check me again. And then I can go here, and then he brings his queen in, and that's checkmate. There, check, there, checkmate. If I go there, he checks, and then if I go back, then it's check, winning the queen. So this leads to losing the queen or checkmate, so I can't play that, which means I'm vulnerable to the fork again of everything. If I just get out of there with queen c2, he plays rook here. And then if I move, I'm still getting mated. I really think I started this game off well, but something went terribly wrong. There's me castling. He was prepared for it, and I wasn't thinking clearly. If I play pawn up, he has a rook there, and then I can't win the knight. If I move my rook to here, that's a good move. The reason I like that move is now my king doesn't get mated as easily. He can kind of run to here. Queen takes also prevents his queen from developing. If his queen played to here, for example, I would have checkmate. So I think I'm going to take with the queen. Okay, now he's threatening check, and then when I move, check, and then I move again, check. I'm not sure what the threat is there. Maybe I just move now, and then he comes in anyways. I'm not seeing it though. Kind of missed his chance. I also have knight to d. It forks the queen and the rook, but the problem is he checks me. So maybe move and then do that move. I think just moving. He goes here. I think I gotta move. He thinks he's checkmating me somehow, and I'm not seeing it. Oh, he has bishop to here, preventing my king from getting away. And there's no way to stop it because the queen can't, because the rook protects the bishop. Like if I went there preemptively right now. I'm threatening checkmate if his damn queen moves without checkmating me. Check, check, bishop. If I move right now, bishop check, and I go back, checkmate. How do I stop this move? I can play, oh, okay, immediately just my bishop in his way. He also has bishop check. When I move, knight check. And that's checkmate. Let's say I play bishop here, stopping the other mate. He has check. If I go, I can't go to the right. If I go left, he has check. Oh, then I would take the bishop because it would cut off the queen. And then he would have check. Check. I think he would have checkmate, but I have to play that move. Also, he has this move, check, and then if I go this way, check. He also has check. Then I move. Then I guess he would move the bishop and threaten to. Yeah, he could play check, and then when I move, play bishop out, making room for the knight to checkmate me with these squares covered by the bishop and these squares covered by the knight. But I have to play this because this move is so devastating. Because right now he's starting to check me and I have to try to run away. So I have to play that. Let's see if I get mated here. Okay, I didn't see that. That pawn drops. And now if I move, he just checks me and I lose my queen. And there's no way to stop it. Check. What's he doing? He's torturing me. What's wrong with taking? Check. Checkmate. Alright. I'm really not embarrassed by that game. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was a good start. Okay, so yeah, E2. Like it so okay, so against the last computer, the lesson was be more aggressive. Against this one, probably not such a good idea. Because I basically accepted all the gambits and let him get a lead on development. And then, okay, it doesn't like that move. See, that's just okay. What? You're telling me that winning that pawn with an attack on the rook is bad for me? And whatever. Okay, it's a draw, and then I castle, and the game's over because of this move, which I didn't see. So my instinct was to bring the bishop back. However, I was uneasy having my king out here, especially with his queen threatening two different squares to get him, and a dark square bishop. So I decided to castle, but I didn't see that this pawn would just immediately be dropped with check, and that's just game over. That's game over because I'm dropping a full piece and a half, it says. Or 3 points as a piece, half a pawn. So half a pawn and a full piece for castling there. Best move is here. Like I said, attack the bishop twice. He has check. Takes. Yeah, there was no way to castle, so my best bet was just to get my king out in the open. And even though I'm winning by pawns, it still it doesn't like my position very much. He would have just tortured me here and not even taken. Yeah, so this is how I would have had to play, but I tried to get my king to safety while at the same time holding on to the pawns, and it just wasn't having it. And this just blows my mind that that's not good for me. Blows my fucking mind. So it likes. See, that's just so bizarre. Why would I not take that pawn? I guess it can just see. It just knows that queen here is going to be too much pressure and prevent me from castling. So it would prefer to leave this pawn isolated, back up, anticipate this move, then I don't castle. And what do I do? I bet if here he just sacrifices. Isn't that amazing? And if castles he takes. What about that move? So see this is a computer. As soon as you stop the dark square, he's like, all right, fine, I'll come in on the light squares. And now the idea was to castle, and then he'll just be like, oh, okay, you want to have that structure? No problem. Just get my rooks in the game, and eventually he'll probably like queen over here. If here, does he have this move? No. But that's me playing for him. Anyways, I think this would have been a good choice. But I'm going to take that free pawn 100 out of 100 times. And here I should have done... I was thinking this move. And he immediately prevents me from castling. What about... I was also thinking this move. Defend the bishop, defend everything. Yep, he just says, I don't care, I'm going to attack this. What about just moving it? Wow. Is he just winning my queen there? What's up with that? Oh, just check. Yeah, well. So this pawn move really wasn't bad, but it made it so hard to defend my h-pawn. Another downside, the downside of the queen's gambit is you kind of commit to castling kingside because you're blowing open your queenside in the first two moves. And you can't castle queenside as easily. But then when you castle kingside, he's already super computer locked in. Like, what about this move? And then on this, just go back. And then he attacks my queen, bring it out where I wanted to bring it. And he just attacks it, bring it back. And then, so there's just no scenario where I get to castle. Can artificially castle, and then boom, he immediately takes advantage of the pin here. It was just lost. He just played better. And let's go back to the very beginning. What should I have done? So knight f3 is a little bit better. So I have an advantage the entire game for 12 moves, 11 moves, and then taking a free pawn with an attack on the rook is when it's officially not winning. And then I don't really. Oh, yeah. See, what about this move? Again, he always has the sacrifice to bring my king out. So I just, it's impossible to hold on to the pawn in the beginning. Anyway, hope you learned something. I will try again, but I was feeling real good today, and I thought I played really well, and he just destroyed me. So there's that. Thank you. Bye bye.